What is up, home care heroes? This is Lucas Carroll with the Business of Senior Care, where at the Business of Senior Care we can help you get licensed, enrolled, and paid faster. Today we're talking about the great state of Louisiana. In Louisiana, the process to eventually get licensed as a home care agency. And in order to get licensed in the state of Louisiana as a home care agency, you first must go through a facility needs review process. Now, facility needs review process is unique to Louisiana, and it's one of the few states where you have to go through a process to advocate or show that there is a need for a new home care agency in your area. Other states call it a certificate of need process. This is kind of like a certificate of need process, although it's labeled as a facility needs review. In Louisiana, it was started in 1990. And it was an effort to limit the number of providers for nursing homes and then eventually other providers as well. And over time, different agencies have been allowed to apply facility needs review. At this current time, if you're looking to do a nursing home, it's under a moratorium. So that would mean that you cannot even apply to start a new nursing home or get a license for a new nursing home in Louisiana, even through the facility needs review process. But for non-medical home care, it's not under a moratorium. And if you're looking to start a non-medical home care agency in Louisiana, it is possible to submit an application to the Facility Needs Review Committee for their review and hopeful approval. So let's talk about, break it down a little bit for how it works in Louisiana. The first process is just identifying where in the state that you would like to start your home care agency. Louisiana, the committee is split up into regions, and there are different parishes that consist of or make up different regions across the state, and the application is then reviewed by the committee that's assigned to that region. And that region is able to assess how many the approved home care agencies there are in the state, but then also in the region, to help factor into their determination on whether or not there is a new need for a home care agency. So some of the steps there when you're first applying is to identify, kind of look at the track record. There is available for public consumption the applications and then the approvals or denials of all license types, but particularly home care agencies, and they identify, the agency and then the regions that they're in. So you can get a sense of what is available or what has been approved or denied in that region previously, for years previously, and see kind of what you're going into when you submit an application. Some of the things to think about is that in more populated cities and then more populated regions, there may be a tougher burden or a tougher hill to climb in terms of getting that approval, because there are already X number of home care agencies in that region versus a more rural region, a more rural parish or area. There may be less home care agencies. And so that definitely factors into the committee's review on how many currently licensed agencies there are that have gone through the facility needs review process, and factor that in for when you go. So what is the facility needs review process look like? So that the burden is on the agency, their proposed agency, to identify where their office is going to be located, which parishes inside of a particular region that they're going to serve. Which population or populations are going to be served? Is it seniors? Is it pediatrics? Is it those individuals that are Medicaid participants, maybe brain injury, development disability, aging? What are the specific populations that are going to be served by this agency? And what I found, what we found by going through this process, is that the more specific that the agency can be, not just saying that we're going to care for everybody, but rather we are going to serve a more rural population, or we are intending to serve a Medicaid population or Medicare population or something like that can identify a more specific need and a more specific population, helps the committee to understand what's the available number of potential clients, how many agencies are serving that client, and what's the opportunity for a new agency. So there are in any given region, there are a number of already licensed agencies in there, and if the application just states that we're going to take care of everybody, then the agency is potentially competing or going up against all licensed agencies. But if you can differentiate yourself between seniors, developmental disabilities, aging, intellectual disabilities, Medicaid population, veterans population, something like that, then you're sort of weeding down the number of agencies that you're competing against, and then you can justify that in your application packet for the X number of totally licensed agencies. But in reality, based on our service population, we're only competing against this number of agencies that actually exist. So being able to sort of paint that picture for the committee is really important for them to understand and potentially approve your facility needs review application. So part of the application, which typically, and clients that we work with, is hundreds of pages, and it consists of the agency's description, who is, if it's a part of a franchise, what's the service area and office, what parishes are going to be served, what population is going to be served, and then it gets into the training program for the agency, the hiring program for the agency, the background of the owners of the agency and how they've contributed. Maybe they've owned a different business in Louisiana and how that's contributed to the community and the jobs that they've created and the business and clients that they've worked with that have helped to boost the economy in the local area. So that's kind of the starting point. And then as you get into further for the application and the description of the agency, they're looking for policies and procedures that the agency are going to follow that are in compliance with Louisiana regulations. And then most importantly are two things that really weigh heavily on the committee. Number one is identifying actual individuals in the region, in your service area, that are currently in need. If you're a home care agency, you're traditionally serving the senior population, so it's actually finding seniors that are unable to obtain the services that they need to remain independent at home or stay independent in an independent living or assisted living or whatever their situation is, that they are unable to find a quality home care provider that's able to meet their specific needs. And we usually shoot for 5. So if you can five seniors or 5 potential clients, and they can identify a specific need that is not currently being met, but can be met by having your agency be licensed, that is very critical and important and helpful for your application. Number 2 is letters and feedback from healthcare workers, individuals in the space that are trying to find and are unable to find quality home care agencies to discharge patients, refer patients, to ensure that a patient, client is able to find quality care and services to meet their needs. This typically comes in the form of like a discharge planner, case manager, somebody that is in like a hospital or a nursing home, somebody that's in a position to refer to home care agencies or discharge with home care, and they're able to speak to, we currently don't have enough quality providers, we don't have enough providers that serve this specific population, we don't have enough providers that are available on evenings and weekends, whatever specific target demographic that you are identifying in your application, they're able to echo that by stating in a letter that they're unable to find providers to meet that specific need. So finding those two will really boost or assist your application and potential for approval of the application. So once you submit the application, it goes to the committee, and then the committee meets typically once a month, and you don't exactly know when you're going to be put on the agenda. But then, you receive a letter, and hopefully that letter is an approval, and the approval for your agency to move from the facility needs review process to the next step, which is actually applying for the home care license. And then that follows the traditional pathway when you get to the home care license of submitting an application, having your policies and procedures for review, developing and being prepared for an on-site survey inspection from the department, and then eventually receiving your license. So that pathway follows your traditional home care licensure process, which we certainly help with. But the biggest hurdle is getting through the facility needs review and putting together an argument for why there should be another home care agency licensed in your region, in the parishes that you want to serve, so that you can prove that out to the committee and they can feel comfortable with approving an additional home care agency to be licensed. It's a complex and can be a complicated process in Louisiana. If you or someone that you know is looking to go through the facility needs review process and looking for expertise from an organization that has gone through it many times before and gotten approvals in different regions to be able to move forward for the licensing, then please contact the Business of Senior Care. We'd be happy to help. This is something that we specialize in and assisting in Louisiana, among other states that do certificates of need to navigate this complex process.